Hi, guys. Welcome to RUDE Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Mack. Welcome back. So, today we're talking about what addiction doesn't tell you, living with um, someone with addiction. Before share my story, I want you to understand that addiction doesn't just affect the people that are using drugs. It affects the mothers, the fathers, the grandchildren, the um, the grandparents, brothers, the sisters, the friends we don't ever mention. It affects all the ones we love, who we love. Um, I know what it's like a hard topic, so bear with me. I know what it is like to wonder if someone you love is going to make it home, or if today is going to be the day you get that breaking hearted phone call. The pain many family carry is solid. So today I'm not sharing this my story to judge any one of my family members or friends. I'm just sharing it because healing is possible and believing in God can restore the addiction that tried to destroy them. And I have seen it work. God works many times. I've seen lives change, and I believe there is hope for every family that's hurting. My family was affected by drugs and alcohol growing up. That was very difficult for me. My mother didn't know how much it affected me. My aunts, my uncles didn't know. No one asked, but it did. There was times when my aunts and uncles and my mom and even my grandma struggled with addiction. Grandma also struggled with alcohol, and she beat that, and then cancer came, and then cancer took her. As a child, I didn't always understand what was happening. I just knew people I love wasn't always themselves. So before I get into that, I wanted to dive into what I learned about addiction. So addiction isn't more than someone making bad choices. It's a condition that change how the brain works, and that when many people continue using drugs, even when they desperately want to stop, they can't. Addiction is when the person becomes physically, mentally, or emotionally dependent on drugs or alcohol. Over time, the brain begins to curve the substance, making it harder to stop. Many people don't stop. So many people don't start out wanting to be an addict. Some begin because of pain, trauma, stress, depressed, peers, peer pressure, or even prescription medication. When I said my aunts and uncles, and I even mention father as well, my father too. There's there's times I used to think that people would just be in the clouds And I'll be wondering, what is this about? You know, you go down to Baltimore and you just go downtown and just seeing people just be and dazed out. And I always wonder what what could what could be so good about this drug to have you want to look like that or act like that or even think like that, but they wasn't really thinking. They may lie, they may steal, they may break many promises that they really want to keep, not because they don't love their family or friends, but because the addiction begins to control their choices. They often lose jobs, relationships, their homes, and sometimes custody of their children. Many feel ashamed, trapped, and believe they can't escape. This is something. This is something really personal towards for me. Addiction doesn't only hurt the person using drugs; it affects everyone who loves them. I love my family, and I always wanted them for the best. I wanted to see for them for the best. And some have got themselves clean, and then some have passed away, and some have still doing an amazing job. That from what I can see, they have got themselves together, and I thank God for that. But I want to give you a story about the constant fear that they gave when someone will call and give you saying their loved ones have overdosed. That fear is like a nightmare, you know, um, and it plays over and over in your head because you want that person to get clean so bad. And I know they say rehab, rehab, rehab. Yes, rehab. But for some people, it doesn't make it to rehab. Anxiety every time the phone rings late at night. I will get sleepless nights wondering if they were safe, my family, my aunts, uncles, father. It just weighed a heavy weight on my mind and my brain. And I just didn't understand at the time what was going on, or what I didn't even know what was addiction and what could it what I knew what it looked like, and I didn't want never want to grow up to be like that, you know. So I didn't want to drink, I didn't want to smoke, and if I did, I didn't look right. So I just didn't want to do it. So I didn't. But many children grow up around addiction, also carry emotional scars, as I did, into adulthood. They may struggle with trust, fear, abandonment, anxiety, or believe they have to fix everything like I did. The good news is recovery is possible. From my story, I was scared. I was worried. I was worried that they will overdose, which have happened, but they didn't die from that. I was I was wondering that like one day I would get that phone call saying that, you know, the person had passed away. And that was a scary, very scary thing to wonder and fear. To live in fear with someone who is addicted is is a nightmare. Watching addiction changed me. I decided early that I didn't want to go down that road. It's like a path, you just don't want to go down. You just don't go down it. It was because it wasn't because I thought I was better than anyone. I didn't never think that. It was because I have already seen what addiction could do to a family. And I didn't want that to happen to my kids growing up, having that nightmare of addiction on about me. So their story probably is something a little more different than what I'm talking about. I saw the pain in my family. I saw broken relationships. I saw fear. I saw people I love become somebody I barely recognized. One one thing that was difficult for me to understand was watching another generation repeat the same cycle. My cousins. I remember wondering, how could someone grow up seeing what addiction did to our family and still you end up struggling with it now? As I got older, I realized addiction is completely complicated. It's not it's not simply about making one decision. There can be pain, trauma, mental health struggles, and many other factors involved. Understanding that helped me have compassion while recognizing how deeply and this had done to me or anyone that was around me was I just try to love them more. I I I, that's what I did. Just try to just love them more. Or I might have just stayed away. But when I seen them, I still act like they was the same regular person I knew. I didn't treat them different. I don't think so. Maybe their story might be a little different. But as far as my memory and recognizing the thoughts of coming up, that was my scare. But some of some of a lot of families members found recovery and healing, and it has been beautiful to see their life change. Just watching my aunts and uncles um, on social media dancing and everything. I never thought that I would be seeing that, but yeah, they doing it, and I'm proud of them. And I always wish them the best, and I thank them for getting themselves clean. That was a hard choice, but you did it. And if your family is going through addiction, as I my family was going through, I wish you nothing but positive, positive, positive belief. Positive is possible. It is. Some of my family members already passed away. Some after battling with illness, like I said, cancer, that took them, or um, they was killed. That's hard. I'm sorry, guys. That's really hard for me. But because of the difficult path, their life had took a different turn. Their minds, I choose a different path, and they choose a different path as well. Their stories remind me of how precious life really is. They also remind me why healing matters. If your family has been touched by addiction, I want you to know this. You are not responsible for someone else's choices. You can love someone and still protect your own peace. And no matter what your witness growing up, you don't have to repeat the same cycle. Healing is possible. So this conversation has been very different and it affected me very differently from this living in fear with addiction. People ask me, how does addiction affect the family? The answer is it changed everything. I just wanted a family that was that was that wasn't addicted to drugs. I seen other families that my friends, families and mothers and stuff wasn't on drugs, but then some of their family members was on drugs. But then I have one person that I'm in mind, mother and father and family was like a normal family. But behind that normal family, I was hearing that the mother was getting abused, domestic violence. So sometimes the picture is always pretty until you hang it up. Would this be my last time I see them? I used to think those questions creep in my mind and create fear that stay with me. Every phone call made was a heart race. Every knock on the door could make you wonder if someone was coming to tell you bad news. You're starting to live with anxiety before you even know what anxiety was or is. I didn't even know I had anxiety. You don't sleep the same. I used to stay up. My aunt didn't know. I used to stay up waiting for her to come home. Um, it was like I know you're supposed to have like favorite aunts, but it was like one of my favorite aunts. All of them, I love all of them, but it was just like this one favorite aunt, and she's still alive today. And I used to wait for her to come home. You don't relax the same. Sometimes you laugh with your family, but inside you're wondering if this will be the last holiday you spend together. Because we did still spend holidays together. We still was a family. We still, still, but it broke me. And I just put the mask on and smiled and pretend everything was okay. And then they didn't realize when I got older, I just moved away um, because I was scared of the phone calls. I was scared that someone going to call and tell me something. So when I see a number, a 443 number or a 410 number, I that almost it broke me. It used to break me a little bit. And sometimes it could just be regular. How you doing? But I was so afraid. It doesn't just affect the person using drugs. It affects everyone. I remember thinking when I look at my family, like, please don't let them die. My cousins, please don't let them die. Please, don't. God, I wanted them to live. I wanted them to get better. I wanted them to come back to themselves. And when someone you love struggling with addiction, they're almost like you're grieving while they still alive. When grieving the person that they used to be, you're grieving the relationship you wish you had with them. You're grieving the future you hope they will have. And sometimes you're grieving because you know addiction can take someone from you before you even know it. There's times, there was times I became so afraid that I decided I never want to try drugs. I didn't want to try alcohol, controlling my life. I didn't want to be that person. So around my friends, I would just drink a little bit to act like I'm drunk. And then if I drink, I would to stay where I'm at because I didn't want to drink and drive. But I didn't want that to overpower me. And what if I felt like it did that day, I would say I'm not drinking anymore. It was because I had always seen the addiction what it could do. I saw families crying. I saw people disappear. I saw broken promises. I saw fear become normal. As I grew older, I watched some family members find recovering as I did, as I do now as I'm older. I'm proud of my aunts and uncles that got themselves clean and still living to this day. We don't celebrate holidays together no more. We don't dance and play around like how we used to anymore. Things and change. It reminds me that recovery is possible, though. Others didn't get that opportunity because life or someone took them away. And when someone passed away after battling with an illness, others lose their lives, their thoughts. Their life was tragically, some life was tragically taken away. And I still can't fathom how or why someone would do that to my cousins or my uncle. I remember coming home one day with my cousin, and we was outside, like it was called squeegee, like squeegee kids, like when you go wash someone windows and stuff. I remember my uncle just before we left. My uncle was telling us how he's gonna whoop us when he get up, because we was like messing with him, like in a kind of like to him it's a different kind, a disrespectful way, but we thought we were just joking around with him. But at the same time, he didn't think that was funny. He was going to whoop us when he see us, and so we kind of ran away and went squeegee. And when we came back from what they call squeegee? I'm trying to get it right, guys. I think it's called squeegee kid, washing windows, car windows for money. Yeah, I had to do that. um, so this particular day, it was a regular day, um, and All I remember is seeing everybody screaming and going off, and I'm like, what is going on? What what just happened? Well, someone just tragically took my uncle, the same uncle that was going to whoop us. So we carrying our buckets back with pocket for the money, definitely pocket for the money, and like which one gonna get a a beating first, right? A whooping first. Well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I wish we'd have played a little longer with him, even though he was serious. He was serious now, but I wish I would have played just a little longer. And I kept thinking maybe that would have saved his life, but that didn't happen. On my grandparents, on my nephews, everyone carried a piece of that pain. Everyone. I think that changed our family a little bit too. So if you're listening today and someone you love is struggling with addiction, I want you to know fear is real. Heartbreak is real. Your tears is real. And I hope no matter what you think, love them, pray for them, encourage them if that's accepted. But remember, this cannot carry the weight. You cannot carry the weight of saving another person by yourself. Healing is a journey for families too. My prayer that is that every family affected by addiction finds hope, support, and peace. Thank you for joining me today on the RUDE Podcast. Until next time, healing, choose peace, and never stop believing that change is possible. But before we end, I'd like to say a prayer. God, thank you for carrying us through the season that filled with fear, uncertainties, and heartbreaks. Thank you for never leaving us. And even when life felt out of control, today I want to lift up every family that has been affected by drugs and alcohol. So God, you know the tears that have been cried, the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the fear of getting that phone call, and the pain of watching someone we love struggle. Father, we thank you for those who have found recovery. So proud of them for choosing healing, for fighting every day to stay clean, and for allowing you to work in their lives. Recovery isn't always easy, y'all, but one step forward is worth celebrating. I just want to remind my family that's alive and made it. Your past doesn't define your future, and it doesn't define you. You are loved, you have value, you have purpose, and through your grace, you have always hope for a new beginning. So, God, I pray also for those who are still struggling, reach them in a way that you can surround them with people who will love them, encourage them, and point them towards healing. Give them the strength to take the next step, no matter how small it may seem. And for the families carrying fear and worry, pl- please bring peace to their hearts. Help them to love without losing themselves, to hope without giving up, and to trust you with their secret. So, Father God, I want our family to know this. I love you. I have always loved you. I am proud of you, of those who have fought to turn their lives around. And I will continue to pray every member of our family that's left. My prayer is that we continue to heal, continue to grow, and continue to walk in your light. I love you, my family. I'm proud of you, my family. And I would never stop praying for you, my family. Namaste.